What's up, everyone? Hope you're doing great. Hope you're having a great day. Happy Friday. Obviously, another week of Premier League football is upon us. And some intriguing fixtures for this weekend. Obviously, yesterday we had the Champions League draw. I actually made a video late yesterday. The quality of the video was pretty bad, to be honest. The thing is, where I kind of shoot my videos, I didn't have good lighting. So the globe here is pretty bad. It's an old one. So I apologize for that poor quality, but I just wanted to do the video, man, because I said I'm gonna do a review of the draw and just look at the intriguing fixtures and intriguing matchups that are gonna be taking place. Obviously, I did that yesterday. You can check out my video with regards to Champions League group stage draw review. Obviously, the fixtures have not come out as of yet. The Champions League is going to start next week on the 6th and 7th of September. So the fixtures are going to be taking the first batch of fixtures. So match day 1 is going to be taking place on I think it's Tuesday and Wednesday, the 7th and 8th of September. I'm not sure if it's Tuesday and Wednesday. Usually the fixtures happen on Tuesday and Wednesday, but the dates are the 6th and no, it's the 7th and 8th. Yeah, it's the 7th and 8th of September, I think. But it's between the 6th and 8th. Yeah, I think, yeah, it's between the 6th and 8th. That's going to be the first round of Champions League matches. But obviously, I'm not going to be talking about the Champions League here. I want to talk about the Premier League. I'm going to be previewing the games in the Premier League that are going to take place this upcoming weekend. But before I go into the video, if you haven't done so, please subscribe to the channel. Sorry there, my ear is itching a little bit. If you haven't done so, please subscribe to the channel, and also please like the video. Please push the thumbs up button to like the video, and please push the notification bell so that you can get notified each time I post a new video. Now, obviously going on with the video, I think I'll start with the most intriguing fixture of the weekend, which is the fixture between Manchester City and Crystal Palace. Now, I'm not saying this is the most intriguing fixture because Manchester City is playing. It's because we're playing Crystal Palace. Now, Crystal Palace always fancy themselves against the top teams. They always cause top teams problems. Liverpool fans are going to recall last week, Monday, they played Liverpool. And I expected Liverpool to win in that game because Liverpool had a poor result on the opening day of the season when they drew against Fulham. So I expected Liverpool to be at it, and Liverpool really played with a certain level of intensity in that game. But Crystal Palace stayed in the trenches. They stayed in the game, and when they got their chance on the counter-attack on the break, Zaha took it and he scored. So Crystal Palace are a tough, tricky opponent simply because they have the players on the offensive end like Zaha, like Eze, like Elise. They have those guys that can hurt you on the counter-attack. Especially Wilfried Zaha. So that's what makes them a really intriguing matchup. It's like Newcastle, Alan Saint-Maximin. It's very difficult to stop Saint-Maximin on the offensive end, and therefore it's very difficult to play against Newcastle because they're going to try and counter-attack you by giving the ball to Saint-Maximin, who is very difficult to stop. As a defender, you don't want to be going up against Alan Saint-Maximin because he's quick, he's big. The only way to stop him is to foul him. But you can't foul him all the time because you're going to get a yellow card, and you can't then foul him further because you're then going to get a second yellow card, which is a red card. So it's really difficult playing against Crystal Palace because they really fancy themselves against the top teams because they have the pace on the break to hurt you. And like last season, for example, I think last season we scored 99 goals in the Premier League. Sorry there, I was just my phone was informing me that the battery is low. But basically, last season in the Premier League, we scored 99 goals. Crystal Palace are the only team, I think, that we didn't score against. We scored against each and every other opponent in the Premier League last year, but against Crystal Palace in both sets of fixtures, well, in both the two fixtures, we played against them. So in the set of fixtures, we played against them home and away. We couldn't score. They beat us 2-0 at the Etihad, and we drew against them 0-0 at Selhurst Park. So that kind of gives you a general idea of how difficult it is to play against Crystal Palace as a top team, because they're going to play a low block and they're going to try and hit you on the break because they have the quick players, they have the players with great vision, and Zaha's finishing can be deadly at times. Like last week, Monday against Liverpool, if Zaha's finishing in the second half was as deadly as it was in the first half, Crystal Palace would have won that game. And yes, you can say Liverpool dominated the game. Yes, Liverpool had all the possession, but if you look at the chances created in terms of the clear-cut goal-scoring opportunities that were created, Crystal Palace are the team that created those opportunities. They just didn't take them. They only took one in the first half, and then they didn't take their chances for the rest of the game. And that's why they ended up drawing against Liverpool. And for large parts of that game, Liverpool had the ball, but they didn't look threatening against Crystal Palace. So obviously I'm hoping for something different with regards to City. Obviously we've got Haaland in the rankings now, and I'm pretty sure we're going to score against Crystal Palace. But nevertheless, it's going to be a difficult game because Crystal Palace are going to play a low block, so we're not going to have loads of opportunities to score against them, and we're going to have to be clinical. But they also, if they want something from the game, they're also going to have to be clinical, because if they don't take their chances, I think I back ourselves to score in that game. Because, for example, when we played at Selhurst Park, we played well in that game and created all the chances. We just didn't take them. Much like Crystal Palace against Liverpool last week, Monday. And when we played at the Etihad, we were really poor on the ball. And we didn't deserve to win that game. But when we played at Selhurst Park, we played like our usual selves, just that we didn't have our finishing boots. Now, this season, we always have our finishing boots because we've got the big Norwegian robot at the top. Haaland is always ready to score, and he always gets chances. Like, his movement is so deadly that no matter if you're playing a low block, he will get a chance. He will get 1 or 2 chances, and he's going to create space for his teammates. And you've seen in the goal last week against Newcastle for Bernardo Silva, the goal that Gundogan scored against Bournemouth 2 weeks ago, those goals were created by Haaland. Yes, he got the assist for Gundogan against Bournemouth. He didn't get the assist for Bernardo Silva against Newcastle because De Bruyne was the one who was passing the ball. But the space that was created for Bernardo Silva to run into was created by Haaland because he's occupying the centre-backs. So I think it's going to be a different task and a different proposition for Crystal Palace playing against us this season than it was last season, because we have Erling Haaland playing at the top. And Erling Haaland, because of his reputation of deadly finishing, he strikes fear into defenders, and therefore they want to occupy him. They want to stay tied to him, and that in return creates space for our midfielders that go late into the box. So I think it's going to be a really good game, really intriguing game, difficult game. Obviously we're playing at the Etihad, so that's a plus. We're going to have the fans behind us tomorrow. But I think it's going to be an intriguing game. It's going to be a difficult game. Obviously for City, I think we sustained a few injuries against Barcelona in the charity game we played on Wednesday. I think Calvin Phillips injured his shoulder. Now, I haven't had any feedback from Pep Guardiola with regards to the severity of that injury, whether it's just a knock or whether he did something to his shoulder or his collarbone. So I'm not sure how long he's going to be out for, but I doubt he's going to be playing in the next game. I'm not sure, but I doubt he will be playing in the next game. And then Luke Mbete had like a clash of heads with Andreas Christensen. And I think he was under concussion protocols, so I don't think he's going to be is going to be available for the squad in the game against Crystal Palace. Not that he was going to play, not that he was going to start. And then obviously last week Ake got injured, so another one of our defenders. Ake got injured. Now I'm not sure if he's going to be back in the team, like in the squad, for the game against Crystal Palace. But obviously another absentee is Laporte. Laporte is the long-term absentee because he had surgery after last season ended, and therefore he's only going to be back in September. So he's still absent from the team. So we are really struggling at the back with regards to injuries. Luckily, we still have John Stones and Ruben Diaz because those guys are still fit, and we still have our fullbacks. We have Walker, we have Cancelo, we have Sergio Gomez, the lad we signed from Anderlecht. We're not struggling in the fullback positions or the midfield or the striking department. Even though I'm not sure with regards to Grealish, because Grealish got injured in the game against Bournemouth and was unavailable for Newcastle last week. Now I'm not sure if he has if he has recovered from that injury, but apart from him, everyone else is fit on the offensive end, and all the midfielders are fit. It's just the two defenders, Ake and Laporte, that I don't think are going to be available for the game tomorrow. But John Stones and Ruben Diaz are available. I'm not sure about the Crystal Palace team news, but I'm pretty sure each and every one of their players or the majority of their squad is fit. And the attacking players that they possess, I think the majority of them are fit. I haven't heard of any injuries with regards to Crystal Palace. So I think it's going to be an intriguing matchup tomorrow. It's going to be a difficult game, and hopefully City win the game. I think I'm going to go for a 2-1 narrow City win, because I think Crystal Palace are not an easy opponent to play against, especially because of the offensive players that they have in their squad. And then going on to the next game, obviously Man United is going to be playing Southampton. Now, I think this is a big game against against Southampton for Man United. I was listening to some of the other YouTube shows. There's a show called Turkish London, where no, it's not Turkish London. The guy, I think the guy who owns the channel or something is called Turkish London, but it's the show itself is called The Big Six. So basically, the reason why it's called The Big Six is because they talk about the traditional English Big Six teams basically in that channel. So they talk about City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal, Tottenham, and Man United. So much like what I'm doing basically. So there's a guy called Saeed who is a Man United fan, and he was saying basically, like it was basically our coach was saying, I know this sounds crazy, but this Southampton game is probably a bigger game than the Liverpool game. And that sounds a little bit crazy, but I understand what he's saying in that this Southampton game is a big game for Man United, probably a bigger game than the Liverpool game, because Man United showed that they can perform at a high level against Man United. They showed that they can perform against a top team and win all the 50-50 battles in the game, which they've not been doing for the past 2 years. So they've shown that they have the capabilities of competing at the highest level, and they have the quality in their squad to unlock a defense, even though Liverpool really play open, so it's not really difficult to unlock the Liverpool defense, especially if you have Payson behind, which Rashford has. But Man United showed for the best part of that match against Liverpool that they can compete at a high level, and they can compete for all the 50-50s in a game, and like you can beat them. But they showed that when they want to, you are only going to beat them because you have more quality than them, not because you've worked harder than them. So they need to now replicate that performance against Liverpool, against Southampton, because it doesn't really matter that you win against Liverpool if you're going to lose against Southampton, because now that's like you are taking 2 steps forward and you are then taking 3 steps back, meaning that you are not necessarily going anywhere. So you can't win against Liverpool and get beaten by Southampton, because you have way more quality than Southampton, and if you compete for all the 50-50s, you should beat Southampton. So I understand Saeed in terms of saying that, in terms of saying that the Southampton game is a bigger game than the Liverpool game, because now you have to show the consistency, because that's what's important in football. If you don't have consistency, you are not going to achieve any great results. You are going to get great results here and there, but you are not going to be able to get a sustainable run of form in terms of good results. So now, Man United, the challenge for them, the challenge for Erik ten Hag, is to back up the performance that they had against Liverpool, against Southampton. Because if you can compete against Liverpool, probably one of the best teams in terms of playing at a very high intensity and playing and pressing and basically hunting for the ball all the time. If you can win all your individual battles on the football pitch against a top-class team like Liverpool, there's no reason why you should not win all your individual battles and play at a very high intensity in a game against Southampton. So that's the challenge for Man United. Obviously, they have Casemiro through the door. He signed last week, and he basically, I think he has his work permit and his visa now. Therefore, he is eligible to play against Southampton. So I think Erik ten Hag is probably going to go for the same team he played against Liverpool, just that he is going to drop McTominay and is going to play Casemiro instead as the 6, and then Bruno Fernandes and Eriksen are going to play as the 2 number 8s that are going to be more expansive, they're going to be going forward, and Casemiro is going to be shielding the defense. But I think based on how Man United played against Liverpool and their defense, how well they defended with Dalot, Malacia, Varane, and Lisandro Martinez, I think he's going to go for the same back 4, and obviously he's going to go for De Gea in goal. I think the only change that Erik ten Hag will probably make is put on Casemiro instead of McTominay, because Casemiro did have a preseason with Real Madrid and he did play in the Super Cup, so he should not be struggling for fitness. Obviously, playing for Real Madrid in preseason and having a preseason and playing in the Super Cup is different to playing in the Premier League. But I think Casemiro is a great professional. I don't think he's going to... Obviously, he's going to need to play Premier League games to get Premier League fitness. So it doesn't really, like, it's not effective to just sit him on the bench because you're saying that he's not yet ready in terms of fitness, because you need to play him in the games in order for him to get the fitness, to get the match fitness. You can only get match fitness by playing games. So I think Erik ten Hag is going to play him in that game against Southampton. Obviously, Southampton have changed their approach. They've signed a group of youngsters. They signed a few youngsters from Manchester City who played for the academy at City. So they are kind of going through a transition at the moment whereby they are putting their faith on young players, and they're trying to go a different direction because they've been a little bit stagnant for a number of years now. So they're trying to do something different. They're trying to get a different output, a different outcome with regards to their results. But I think if Man United can replicate the intensity and the pressing and the desire and the attitude and the application that they showed against Liverpool, there's no reason why they can't win against Southampton. Because Southampton has less quality than Liverpool and has less quality than Man United. Man United have more quality on the ball than Southampton. But if Man United don't compete for the 50-50s and they don't replicate the level of fitness and level of intensity that they showed against Liverpool, they're going to lose the game against Southampton. So that's the challenge for them. It's basically doing exactly the same thing that they did against Liverpool in terms of application, attitude, intensity. Because if they do that against Man United, against these guys, against Southampton, then they are going to easily win the game. They should not be struggling to beat Southampton if they do exactly the same things that they did against Liverpool. So I think that's the challenge for Erik ten Hag. And I think he should go with the same selection he went with against Liverpool. He should not pick Ronaldo. He should not pick Maguire, because Maguire has been off form for 18 months now. He's been bad for Man United. He's been consistently bad. I know he's still the captain, but just because you're the captain doesn't mean you have to play. So I think Erik ten Hag should go for the same team. The team that did not disappoint against Liverpool, the team that played well against Liverpool. Hello guys, I apologize for the stoppage in that other video. I'll just continue with what I was saying here. The reason why there was a stoppage because I had an alarm, so it just went off and therefore it stopped my video. So I'll just continue with the Man United topic. Obviously, I was saying that I think Erik ten Hag should go for the same team. He should not pick Ronaldo. He should not pick Maguire. Maguire's been off form. And Ronaldo is a great, but I think he should keep his selection consistent. I think he should play exactly the same team against Southampton, because he's going to get that intensity. Ralph Hasenhüttl plays, he sets up his team in such a way that they play at a very high intensity. So you can't have passengers. You can't have Ronaldo who's going to have moments of intensity. You need to be consistently at it. You need to be playing at a high intensity, at a high level for the majority of the game, so that you can get the win against Southampton. Because if you don't, and they have moments when they are on top of you in the game, you're gonna give them opportunities to score. So I think it's really a big game for Man United, tough game against Southampton, but one that they should be winning. They should be following up that Liverpool result with the win against Southampton. I think that's going to be the challenge for Erik ten Hag. So yeah, that's the Man United game. I think they're going to win. I think they're going to win 3-1, but we all know Man United can disappoint. I'm not ready to jump on the Man United bandwagon as of yet and put them in my top 4, but if they can replicate that performance that they put on against Liverpool, there's no reason why they should not win 3-1. I think I'm going to back them to win 3-1 against Southampton, but I'm not going to be surprised if they draw or they lose, because they could easily go back to their old habits of not pressing, of not having the attitude. But I think they're going to have a lot of confidence from that Liverpool game, beating Liverpool. I mean, Liverpool came within 1 point of winning the league title last season. They came within 2 goals of winning the Champions League last season. So I'm sure it's a huge confidence booster for them to beat Liverpool, their arch rivals, and especially with regards to what Liverpool have achieved in previous seasons. So I back Man United to win, but I'm not going to be surprised if they go back to their old habits. But I think Erik ten Hag is really a good coach. He's really drilling them in the training pitch. And I think Casemiro is going to be a great addition to the team. And I think they're going to win against Southampton. Okay, going on to the other game. Obviously, Arsenal are playing Fulham. So obviously, Arsenal are the only team with a 100% record at the start of the season. They've won They've won 3 games out of 3. They beat Palace, they beat Bournemouth, and they beat Leicester. They've really started the season well. They've really been playing at a very high level. They've set a standard now. So it's important for them to keep playing at that standard. So they played at a very high level, at a very high intensity. They've bossed games, they've dominated games, they've looked sharp. So consistency is key for them now. And I back them. I think Jesus and Zinchenko have added a level of mentality that wasn't there. They're winners. They have 8 Premier League titles between them because they've won 4 each with Manchester City. And Jesus' quality is showing on the pitch. He's really playing well. I back him to play well against Fulham. I've actually made him I've triple captained him in my FPL team. I have him in my FPL team. Hopefully he doesn't disappoint. I think they're gonna play really well against Fulham. Now Fulham have started the season off well as well. It would be harsh of me to not mention them because they drew against Liverpool. They won their second game. I forgot who their second game was against. And I think they drew the other one. So I actually think they're still unbeaten. Are they? I'm not sure. But I don't think I think they've started the season off well. I mean, opening the season with a draw against Liverpool, that's a great result for them because everyone would have expected them to get battered by Liverpool. And actually, it was the opposite. They are the ones who battered Liverpool for the majority of that game. So I think Fulham have had a good start to the season. Big Mitrovic has grabbed a few goals. They're playing to Mitrovic's strengths. Unlike the last time they were in the Premier League when they were trying to play football, when they were trying to play tiki-taka like Manchester City, not bearing in mind that they don't have the quality to play that style of football. Now they're playing more direct. They're getting the ball to Mitrovic, and Mitrovic is bullying defenders. But I think I back Arsenal to win. I'm not going to be surprised if Fulham are able to grab a goal or 2. Hopefully they don't, because I actually have this guy. I actually have Saliba in my team. I have Saliba in my FPL team, and as well as Zinchenko, I think. So hopefully they keep a clean sheet because they're part of the defense. So I think I back Arsenal to win the game against Fulham. I don't think there's much I can dwell on besides praising Arsenal with the start that they've had so far this season and the start that Jesus has had at his new club. I'm really happy for the guy. I love Jesus to bits. He always gave 100% for the shirt when he was playing for Manchester City, and that's all you can ask for from players that represent your football club. So I really love Jesus. I'm happy for him in terms of him playing at a very high level. He has 2 goals and 2 assists in his first 3 games playing for Arsenal, so I'm really happy for him. But I really back Arsenal to win. They're also playing at the Emirates, I think. So I think they're playing at home. The crowd is going to be behind them. So I really back Arsenal to win the game against Crystal Palace. I think they could, not Crystal Palace, these guys, Fulham. I think they're going to play. It's actually a London derby because Fulham is from London. But I think, I back Arsenal to win. They have way more quality than Crystal Palace. And if they play at a high intensity, like how they've played in the games that they've played so far this season, there's no reason why they should not be winning that game comfortably. So I'm going to go for a 3-0 Arsenal win. Hopefully Jesus at the double there to help my FPL team. Okay, so going on to the next fixture. So I've talked about United, I've talked about City, I've talked about Arsenal. So now Liverpool play Bournemouth. Now Liverpool have had a shocking start to the season. I mean, by their standards, sorry for that. Okay, my battery's 10% here, so I've got a little bit of time. Just checking my battery there so I don't keep shooting and then it just kind of switches off on me. But basically, as I was still saying about Liverpool, they've had a shocking start to the season. I mean, it's been a horrific start by their standards. Liverpool and Manchester City have been the standard in the Premier League in the past 4 or 5 seasons. They've really played at a high level. And Liverpool are playing at a very low level at this moment in time. I understand they have a lot of injuries. Thiago is injured, Jota is injured, Nunes is suspended because he had that stupid moment of madness against Crystal Palace. So he was suspended for 3 games because it was a straight red card. So he saved his first match against United. So this is his second match against Bournemouth, and it's going to be Newcastle midweek. That's going to be his next game. Now, luckily for Liverpool, they're playing Bournemouth, and Bournemouth, I mean, they don't have that much quality, and also Liverpool are playing at Anfield. So I'm pretty sure that Klopp is going to be drilling his troops, that being his players, obviously. And I think they're gonna have a point improvement. They've had a shocking start to the season. I understand they have a lot of players injured. Obviously I said Thiago, Jota, Matip, Konate, Keita, Oxlade-Chamberlain. I mean, that's 6 first-team players injured. So I think they are down to the bare bone with regards to injuries. Their midfield is struggling a little bit. They're being bossed in the midfield by the teams that they're playing against, because they're playing Milner, Henderson, and Harvey Elliott. That's the midfield they started with against United. Probably Fabinho is going to go back to the team, and he's going to play Fabinho, Harvey Elliott, and Henderson in the midfield. Again, that's a midfield that's not really inspiring when you look at it. Obviously, they still have Luis Diaz. Firmino really looks like a shell of himself. I think he doesn't have a lot of confidence at this moment in time. He hasn't scored in a long time. And Salah, obviously, he's scored 2 goals so far this season in the first 3 games, but he has not played well, if we are being perfectly honest, whereby he's taking players on, playing at a high level, but also he's not getting a lot of balls. Andy Robertson has been struggling a little bit as well. I think Andy Robertson really loved playing with Mane, because Mane has a lot of energy. I mean, Mane is a true African man. African men are gonna understand me when I say this. The thing is, you see, Africa, especially the Central African countries, where Mane is from, like it's from Senegal. Like, first of all, it's really hot, and then it's like mountains and like it's basically high peak mountains. So the African countries are at a very high altitude. Therefore, the guys who come from there, and the girls, have a very high level of fitness. That's why you see a lot of runners, like a lot of guys and girls who win Olympic medals with regards to like long distance running. They're from Africa because of where they train. It's the African conditions, it's the heat and the high altitude. So Andy Robertson really loved playing with Sadio Mane, because Sadio Mane had a lot of energy, and he could sustain the same level of energy and intensity for a whole 90 minutes. And therefore, he used to help out Robertson a lot on that left-hand side, where he would track back, and when Robertson went up, he would make sure that he's covered Robertson, and would make sure that Liverpool don't get counter-attacked a lot. But now they don't have Sadio Mane, and therefore they've lost that intensity and that energy on that left-hand side. So Robertson is struggling a little bit. Obviously, he's going to get used to it. Robertson is a high-level player, top-quality player, really great signing for Liverpool. He's been a great servant for Liverpool. And, excuse me, to think that he was only signed for £8 million, he's been an absolute bargain, because he's probably worth over 60 million now, or 70. I mean, the prices are really inflated. If Anthony Gordon is worth 60 million, then Robertson is worth more. That's a fact. So, so I think they've been struggling a little bit without Mane. They're kind of missing him a lot, but obviously he's gone now, so you can't be talking about Mane. He's gone. That chapter is closed, and therefore they have to move on. Bournemouth have really been, they were good against Aston Villa on the opening day of the season, but against City, against Arsenal, they were horrific. They never laid a glove. They never created anything. They created absolutely nothing in the 2 games. And they probably could have been beaten by more by Manchester City. 4-0 was a very good result for them. And it didn't tell the whole story, basically, because they were really horrific in the game. And against Arsenal as well, they never laid a glove on Arsenal. They just stood off Arsenal. They never challenged them. So if they do the same thing against Liverpool at Anfield, then Liverpool are going to win the game. I back them to win the game. I think they just need to get a win on the board, because they've had 3 games this season and they don't have a win. They have 2 draws and 1 loss. That's a horrific start from them. That's 2 points from a possible 9. By their standards, that's a horrific start. So I think it's really been a bad start to the season for Liverpool, but I back them to turn it around against Bournemouth at Anfield. I think that the crowd is going to be buzzing, the crowd is going to be raucous, and they're going to be backing their team to win. And I think they're going to win the game. I think they're going to win 2-0. I think the reason I'm going for 2-0, they just need to get a win on the board. The players, doubt is going to be creeping into the players a little bit, because they've had a shocking start to the season, which that's something they are not accustomed to. So I'm going for a 2-0 win. I think it's going to be a 2-0 win. They're going to graft out a result, and they're just going to get that W on the board. So I'm going for a 2-0 win for Liverpool. Then obviously, so that's Liverpool, City, United, and Arsenal. So the 2 remaining teams is Tottenham and Chelsea. Now Chelsea play. Who are Chelsea playing? Who are they playing? Fuck, I don't know. So Chelsea and Tottenham. I think Tottenham are playing. No, not Brighton, man. Not Brighton. They're not playing Brighton. Who are Tottenham playing? Okay, forgive me for this, guys. I forgot here who these guys are playing. But obviously Tottenham and Chelsea are going to be playing in the this weekend. Let me just have a quick check. I apologize, guys, man, for that disturbance. I just forgot who Leeds. No, not Leeds, man. I just forgot who Chelsea are playing and who Tottenham are playing. So I just checked it out here. I didn't have a second phone with me. Sorry that I'm just fixing my camera. I didn't have a second phone with me, so I couldn't check on another phone. So I just had to quickly check on my Premier League app. But anyways, like my phone was also, the battery was also low. So I had to go and take my charger from my room and just charge my phone there. So I apologize for the unprofessionalism there. I really sincerely apologize. But obviously Chelsea are playing Leicester City and Tottenham Hotspur are playing Nottingham Forest. So yeah, basically, talking about Chelsea, obviously Chelsea, like Liverpool, they've not had a great start to the season. Now, Chelsea have had 3 fixtures. They played Everton, they played Leeds, and they played Tottenham. Now, they were unfortunate not to win against Tottenham Hotspur because they outplayed Tottenham and they outcoached Tottenham. Like Thomas Tuchel outcoached Antonio Conte in that game. And they should have won the game, but they didn't. And that's all that matters. They didn't win the game, they drew the game. And then against Everton, they didn't play well, but they won the game. And that's all that matters. Because whether you play well or you play bad, doesn't really matter. If you win, that papers over the cracks. And they won against Everton, and that's all that matters. They got 3 points on the board, and they left Goodison Park. Goodison Park is a tough place to go to. They don't have to go there again this season. They got to win. You tick it, you get a W on the board, and then you get out of Liverpool and you go back to London. But now, because they lost against Leeds, like if they drew against Tottenham and won against Leeds and Everton, that would have been a good start to the season. Because that would have been 7 points from 9. Start at the beginning of the season, the players are still trying to find their fitness. They have 2 wins from 3 and a draw. They are unbeaten, 7 points from 9. Really good start to the season. But now they only have 4 points from 9 because they lost against Thingy. They lost against Leeds. They drew against Tottenham, and obviously they won against Everton. So that's not a good start from Chelsea with regards to their aspirations for this season. Because I'm sure they want to close the gap to Manchester City and Liverpool. And their start to the season, even though in contrast, when I say they want to close the gap to Liverpool, because Liverpool have actually had a worse start than Chelsea. But obviously Liverpool have shown an incredible level of consistency over the years, and therefore we have to give them the benefit of the doubt. We can't just say we can't just write them off because they have had a shocking start to the season. We have to give them the benefit of the doubt simply because of what they've shown in previous seasons. So I apologize there, man. I just have my niece here and she's kind of disturbing me, but I apologize for that. She really likes watching her uncle do videos and stuff. So I'm a bit of a family man. So I really apologize for that. I'm gonna try and make sure that she doesn't disturb. Like you see, there she goes. She's talking now. So you're probably gonna hear her because I don't have my headphones today because they're low. So I'm using my earphones. So I apologize for that. But back to Chelsea. Let's forget about my niece for a while. Back to Chelsea. They have had a shocking start to the season, and I think Thomas Tuchel, the jury is out with regards to Thomas Tuchel. He won the Champions League 2 seasons ago, but that's gone now. Now he needs to deliver. He needs to close the gap to Manchester City and Liverpool, especially that they're back now that they're backing him in the transfer window. He's already spent over 150 million pounds. They're the highest spenders in the Premier League this season. And they're still trying to sign more players. They're trying to sign Aubameyang. They're trying to sign who's the other guy they're trying to sign? They're trying to sign Wesley Fofana. And Leicester, they have just submitted a bid today for worth 75 million pounds for Wesley Fofana. So if Chelsea get the people that they want, they're going to spend well over 200 million pounds. And that's a lot of money over one transfer window. And if Thomas Tuchel doesn't win anything and he doesn't close the gap to City and Liverpool, he has to be sacked. We have to keep the same energy. If we're gonna say Mikel Arteta, if we're gonna say the jury is out with regards to Mikel Arteta and Arsenal because they spent over 250 million in 2 transfer windows, then we have to keep the same energy with regards to Thomas Tuchel. He has to deliver the season. He can't sign these players for these astronomical figures of money and still not deliver in the on the pitch. He has to sign these players and he has to win. I apologize, man. Like, my niece kicked my thing now. She kicked my ring light. So I'm sorry for that. There's a lot of disturbances today. I guess the typical Friday. Everyone is jubilant. But yeah, so Thomas Tuchel has to deliver this season. The jury is out with regards to Thomas Tuchel. I don't care that he won the Champions League or whatever. Like, that's 2 seasons ago. You can't be saying I won the Champions League, is the best coach or whatever. You have to deliver on the football pitch. You can't be outclassed by Manchester City and Liverpool this season if you're Thomas Tuchel after spending in excess of £200 million. You just can't do that. The first time Pep Guardiola spent in excess of £200 million in one season, in one transfer window, he won the league with 100 points. So Thomas Tuchel, I'm not saying he has to win the league, but he has to get close to Manchester City and Liverpool, and he has to win at least 1 trophy with the squad that he's assembling, with the squad that he has at his disposal. If he doesn't, then I'm sorry that the jury is out with regards to him and the Chelsea job. He would be lucky to survive the sack if he spends in excess of £200 million and still be on the job. Under Abramovich, we all know what would have happened. He would have been sacked a long time ago. So I think, that the jury is out with regards to Thomas Tuchel. He has to deliver the season. He likes moaning as well. He's a moaning coach. He's always whining and making excuses left, right, and center. So he needs to improve in his press conferences as well, man. Like, you have to admit when you've been outclassed and outcoached by another team. Like, you need to admit. You can't make excuses. Like, last week, he was making an excuse about the coaching staff having to take a bus to Leeds and not taking a plane. Like, how is that relevant to the game? The coaching staff are not playing, so what if they take a bus? The players went to Leeds from London with a plane. That's all that matters. So you can't be making excuses that you like the coaching staff went by train or went by bus to Leeds, and therefore that affected the results. That's a pathetic excuse. It's absolutely pathetic from Thomas Tuchel, and he really needs to improve. He needs to improve the season. Otherwise, serious questions need to be asked if he does not deliver the season. But yeah, going on to the last fixture, obviously Tottenham playing against Forest. Tottenham are going to play against Nottingham Forest. Obviously, Tottenham have started the season off well. They have 7 points from 9. They've won 2 out of 3. They've drawn the other one. They're unbeaten. 7 points from 9. Really good start for them. Perisic has really looked lively. Another guy who's in my FPL team, so hopefully he does well this weekend. Ben Davies has also played well together with Eric Dyer at the heart of that Tottenham defense. So I think obviously Nottingham Forest have just been promoted. I don't think they have the quality to threaten Tottenham. If Tottenham go out there and they put on a high level performance, there's no reason why they should not be winning that game. Actually, I didn't predict the Chelsea game. I think so. They're playing Leicester. I think Chelsea are going to win. Leicester are struggling a little bit, man. This season, Wesley Fofana is not going to play in that game because he's being linked with Chelsea, and Brendan Rodgers says his head is not in the game. His head has been turned, but his head has been turned by Chelsea basically. So he really wants to go to Chelsea. He's actually already agreed a contract with Chelsea. So he's not going to play in that game against Chelsea. And obviously they've lost Kasper Schmeichel. Yeah, man, Leicester have not started the season off well. Yuri Tillemans doesn't seem like he wants to be there. He's not really performing. And he has a year left on his contract, and rumors are that he wants to leave. He does not want to extend his contract. Maddison has been linked with Newcastle, even though that has died out in the past week or so. So Leicester are not in a good place at this moment in time. So I think Chelsea are going to win. I think they're going to win 2-1 against Leicester. Then obviously going on to the last game, which is the Tottenham game. Tottenham against Forest. As I was saying, Forest have just been promoted from the Championship. They've won. They actually won against West Ham, which is a good result for them. They won at the City ground, their ground, which is a good result for them. They obviously lost their opening game. I think they played against who did they play? I think they played against Brentford or something. I think they lost their opening game. They won their second one, and their third one, did they win last week? I'm not actually sure. But I think Tottenham have way more quality than Forest, and if they perform at a high level, at the high level that they're capable of performing at, they have world-class players in certain areas of the pitch. If Harry Kane has his shooting boots on, if Son improves from his first 3 games of the season, because he's been relatively quiet, if he improves and he plays at a high level, there's no reason why Tottenham should not be winning that game comfortably, because they have the quality. So for Tottenham, it's just a matter of consistency now, just like Arsenal. So I think they're going to be wanting to win that game against Nottingham Forest. I back them to win the game. I think they're going to win the game probably 2-0, because I think they just have too much for Forest. I think Tottenham have started off well. They obviously play their back three. They're solid on defense. They're good going forward. And they have a good base, and they have a good midfield, and they have great attacking players. So I think they're going to win the game. In the last week, actually against Wolves, they weren't that good. Actually, Wolves battered them, especially in the first half. Wolves created all the chances, but they just didn't have quality finishing. And then because obviously Tottenham have some world-class players in their team, they shifted gears. Perisic put in a cross for Harry Kane, and Harry Kane scored. And then Tottenham won the game. And that's the name of the game in the Premier League. You can dominate the game and create all the chances. If you don't take them, you're going to get punished. And that's what happened. And I think Forest are going to find that out this weekend. They will get punished if they make mistakes against a top quality team like Tottenham. I back them to win. I back Tottenham to win the game against Nottingham Forest. Because I really think like those days of Tottenham really being shocking and being inconsistent, I think they are closer to over. I'm not going to say they're over as of yet. I still need to see it, because they still did lose to Burnley last season, who actually Burnley ended up getting relegated. So I still need to see it from Tottenham. I still need to see the level of consistency that they're capable of. But I back them to win in that game. I think they're going to win comfortably against Nottingham Forest, because they simply have too much quality for them. And because they're being coached by Antonio Conte, they're gonna work. They're gonna compete. They're gonna win all the battles across the pitch, across the areas of the pitch. And I think it's going to be a comfortable win for them. So I'm going for a 2-0 win for Tottenham in that game. So obviously, again, guys, we're going to get really busy in this upcoming week, because now midweek football is starting. Next week, there are midweek games in the Premier League. And then next week, the Champions League is starting. So it's going to be playing midweek. So I'm going to be doing a lot more videos now. Midweek, I'm going to be previewing the games in the Champions League and the midweek Premier League games. And then I'm going to be reviewing them after they happen. So I'm probably going to do it Tuesday. I'm going to do, on Tuesday or Monday, I'm going to do the preview videos. And then on Thursday after the games, or Wednesday, well, not Wednesday, because they're going to play Wednesday evening. On Thursday after the games, I'm then going to I'm going to be reviewing the games. I apologize for Man United fans and for Arsenal fans, but I don't think I'm going to be really watching the Europa League. And this is not a dig, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be previewing those games. If I do get the time, I'll do them. But unfortunately, the Europa League is not glamorous. I mean, it is the Europa League, and Champions League football is the way to go. I'm sorry that I was just fixing my camera. But I think it's going to really get busy in these upcoming weeks. Please support the channel. Please like the videos. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. And please push that notification bell so that you can get notified each time I post a new video, so that you can get the reviews, the previews of these games. Obviously, I'm also going to be looking at transfer updates for next week, because it's transfer deadline day next week, because the transfer window is closing next week. So it's really going to be it's going to be busy in this upcoming week. Basically, hopefully you're gonna come along for the ride. And please support the channel, man. And I appreciate all the support that you've given me so far. And please just keep supporting the channel. I really appreciate it. That's the video now. And thank you for watching the video. And we'll see you in the review videos for the Premier League games. See you in the next one. Thank you for watching.